No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. No payments for a year. Ensemble entry doors by Renewal by Andersen are just so much better. They're built with the best quality materials, including Renewal by Andersen's exclusive Fibrex, which has been tested to deliver enhanced security, certified performance, and lasting beauty. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. That's RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is love for the game.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship, and most of those are worth far less than the cost of tuition. So, why do they play?
My reason why is commitment.
My reason why is friendship.
A sense of purpose, love for the game, to help others, friendship. There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports and to participate in other high school activities like cheerleading, debate, and music. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
We're in the 66th minute between Germany and Paraguay. Just 12 minutes ago, Germany equalized.
Wirtz whips that in! Kai Havertz! To the rescue! It's what they've been craving, but it comes as a mighty relief for Germany.
1-1 currently in the 66th minute. Even across the board, winner takes on either France or Sweden on July 4th. Earlier, Japan fell in a heartbreaker to Brazil 2-1. The final score, the 95th minute score by Gabriel Martinelli being the difference for Brazil. They'll take on the winner of Ivory Coast or Norway. According to multiple sources, Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant is being traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers are getting back Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. The Atlanta Hawks are declining Jonathan Kuminga's $24 million team option, making him a free agent. I'm Chris Perfett.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Great to have you on board. Hope you had a nice weekend. We are ready to go in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live. Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates across the state. Fox Sports Rapid City, we're ready to go. Also, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Glad to have you on board. Really appreciate you. Our thoughts going out to everybody in the Highmore area. I'll tell you what, such a wild, devastating storm that hit early this morning. So our thoughts going out to our folks in central South Dakota. Hope you're able to rebuild, get back on your feet. Let's get after it tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, you bet. Also streaming on X right now. Get us while you can. We're not going to be streaming video the next couple of days. It's okay, everybody. We're fine. But we are going to be on radio only next couple of days. But we are live on Twitter. You can find us at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live right there at Nate Brown Show. Also, get us on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. We are live on our YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. YouTube, one more place, Midwest Sports Plus. You bet. You've got us on the new high school sports streaming app, Midwest Sports Plus. Again, hope you had a nice weekend. Glad you're here. It's always a great day in South Dakota, and the Nate Brown Show is back on. A Reaction Monday coming up. That means Rob Kagron's on his way in. National radio host Rob Kagron, our guest host next hour. Full hour with Rob coming up. A lot of things popping. You would think, hey, middle of the summer, 250th anniversary coming up for this country, and July 4th, nothing going on. There's a lot happening. We're going to get into it. Rob Kagron's coming up. Let's look at the guest lineup. We'll get to you. Thor Nystrom's on the way from the Twin Cities, talking NFC North and top coaches on the hot seat. I wanted to get Thor's thoughts here, NFL analyst and Vikings coverage from Thor Nystrom. Score North, he's straight ahead from Minneapolis. Jerry Brewer's been covering the World Cup. He covers the World Cup, the NBA, a lot of things popping. You got this trade deadline for the NBA. Jerry Brewer's in. Some pretty big trades happening over the last couple of days. Jerry Brewer's on, columnist for The Athletic. He's live tonight. Of course, the U.S. men's national team playing Wednesday night. You bet. Getting set for Bosnia-Herzegovina. Can the USA get into the round of 16? And then can they even get to the quarterfinals? Jerry Brewer's coming up. He's been covering the World Cup. And we'll go to North Dakota tonight. Mike McFeely pops in before the 4th of July. Mike McFeely just wrote a piece saying North Dakota State has fond memories of the FCS, and we'll get his read. Mike McFeely, Inforum.com. You want in tonight, let's get you on. We are live. You can be a part of the program, 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. That is the Pizza Ranch Studio hotline. Mark that down. Be a part of the conversation. Powered by the Pizza Ranch. 2 great locations, East River. Stop by this week in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. You'll find the Pizza Ranch. Best buffet in town. Great Fun Zone arcade for the kids. Bring them. Have some fun. Favorite buffet is at the Pizza Ranch. Also, Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. 605-720-1067. That is the text line for you. Barron's Wilson text line. One more time, 605-720-1067. Okay, a couple of things to discuss tonight. So let's just throw this out there. This Wednesday, July 1st, that is when North Dakota State officially becomes a member of the FBS. Did you know that? Yeah. So Wednesday's official. We know the Bison are going to the Mountain West. They're going to FBS, and people have said this and that, and they're in the EA Sports College video game, all that fun stuff. But July 1st, this week, North Dakota State officially becomes a member of the FBS. And I have a question of the day. I thought about this. When I read McFeely's piece today, I was reading McFeely's piece, and he was talking about the great memories from the FCS and all the fun that the Bison had in the FCS. And I'll get him on later this hour to discuss it with him. But basically, it was like the FCS was great, and he's not putting down the FCS. And so he said, now, the FCS has changed, and you look at a lot of these big programs that have been so good in the FCS football over the years, they've gone up to the FBS. So he said it's not what it used to be, but there's great memories in the FCS. So I started thinking about this. I'm here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, connecting both sides of the state, sports fans, Jack fans, Yote fans. And I wanted to know when North Dakota State goes FBS, when they do that, and it's official this Wednesday, will you actually be secretly rooting for them a little bit because of their ties to the FCS and because of our teams that remain in the FCS? Meaning, you want the FCS teams, when they step up to the big leagues, you want them to do well, do you not? Did we not want James Madison to do well? We've seen our teams take on James Madison and compete at the highest levels. Did we not want James Madison when they went FBS to do well? Or do you just have a disregard for those teams? Once they leave the FCS, they're dead to you. It's over. I do want to ask that because I was thinking about that today. As we start this week, summer week, and we're going to have a few shows, and then we're going to take a vacation. By the way, a little heads up from the Nate Brown Show, you loyal listeners, we appreciate you, but we're taking a little vacation after a few more shows. I wanted to know, as North Dakota State joins the FBS, will you secretly admit that you're rooting for them to do well to represent the FCS? That's what I would like to ask you, because I think there are people that are going to say that, and I'm going to tell you where I'm coming at on this. I'm going to tell you where I'm not a Jacks alum, not a Yotes alum, okay? I've got outside influence here. I'm an objective viewer. I have passion. I want the Jacks and Yotes to do well, but I do have a strong opinion on this. I have a strong opinion on this. Are you rooting for NDSU when they join the FBS on Wednesday and they launch their season in the Mountain West? Are you secretly rooting that they do pretty well in the Mountain West because it represents the FCS? It says, hey, see, the FCS is good football. This is a program that was winning and South Dakota State has beaten, right? And you look at it and say, maybe we want them to do well because then it shows, hey, we're playing with the big boys. We can compete with the big boys. You know what that means? And so that's my question of the day on the Nate Brown Show to start this week. Would you root for North Dakota State? Are you going to tell your cousin that when they play New Mexico, are you going to be rooting for the Bison over Jason Eck and New Mexico? Because you want them to represent the FCS well. That's the team that just left. What do you say? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, I have two things.
Okay.
The first one was you got to take your family to the College World Series. I went to the championships.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And we had great seats. And Oklahoma was just unbelievable.
Yes, I saw that.
Secondly, I have fond memories of the North Central Conference.
Okay.
All right. The FCS, nah, not so much.
Okay.
And let's be honest, North Dakota may even win the Mountain West. Hey, yahoo. But that's about as far as you're going to go because you're not going to get by an SEC or a Big Ten school.
Okay. Are you rooting for North Dakota State to win the Mountain West?
No, Nate, I became a fan because of you of that Mountain West. And I tell you what, I love both Montana schools. I always root for Wyoming.
Yes.
And I love UNLV.
Okay, so you're not rooting. Okay. All right.
They ain't going to root for South Dakota for nothing, buddy, or Nebraska. So.
Okay, I like that.
You're going to go up there and get pounded, North Dakota State.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the College World Series. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey, you bet. It was great, Nate.
All right.
It was great.
Thanks for getting in. Good to hear from you. All right. I do want to go to the College World Series. He knows that. He's listened to the show a long time. I gotta make that happen sometime. So I have a strong opinion. That caller there says North Dakota wouldn't root for South Dakota State. And he's absolutely right. But let me throw this out on the Twitter machine. You know what we do there? We put the question of the day on Twitter. North Dakota State officially joins the FBS this week, Wednesday. Will you secretly be rooting for them to do well in the Mountain West? Yes, you want them to represent the FCS well, or no, you hope they get killed. Got 89 votes on this thing so far. So there's 89 people that have voted really quickly on this. 55% of the Twitter audience, they are Twittiers, 55% say they're rooting for North Dakota State because they want the FCS to do well. 45% say no, hope they get killed. Hang on a second. I got to say something. If you're a South Dakota State, I'm talking to Jacks fans here, okay? That's been your rival, the Dakota Mark, your biggest rival in college football. You've taken them down. You've won national championships, okay? Now they're leaving. They think they're better than you. I mean, they think they're way better than you. North Dakota State's going to, they're going to think they're kind of cool right now. Are you telling me there's any Jacks fans here in South Dakota right here on the Nate Brown Show tonight? There's any Jacks fans that are going to be rooting for the Bison? I do think there is some, but I'm telling you tonight, I don't want to tell you what to think. You shouldn't be rooting for the Bison at all. We got somebody, we have somebody associated with the Nate Brown Show, somebody associated with us closely. You know him. He kind of wants NDSU to do well. Not me. No, it's not me. I'm not going to step in this. I'm telling you right now, I'm not a Jacks or Yotes alum, okay? I'm an outside objective viewer. South Dakota guy, okay, I want our teams to do well. I don't even want NDSU to do well in the Mountain West. I'm not an NDSU hater, guys. So what I'm telling you is I'm fair with NDSU. We actually, talk about them, and I'm going to follow them, but I don't want them to win games in the Mountain West. Am I rooting for NDSU in, hardly any of their games in the Mountain West? I'm really not. Why would you? If you're a South Dakota State, South Dakota guy, I can't do this. So if you're an alum, you're a passionate donor, you're a fan, you've been following the programs here in this state, I can't believe it. 55% on Twitter say I'm secretly rooting for them to do well in the Mountain West. They joined the FBS this Wednesday, and you want them to do well to represent the FCS well. I don't want them to do well at all. What do you say on the text line? Let's see. Absolutely no way am I rooting for NDSU as a former Jackrabbit. Nothing would make me happier than seeing them go 0-12 every year. Now that's honesty. And that's what I mean. I couldn't believe it, though. We got 100 votes now, and people are, half of the audience, over half, are saying that. Now, are we getting some North Dakota people on that Twitter account? Can we look at that? No, we can't. But we're getting some North Dakota people on that Twitter account. We got to be careful. This is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Let's see if I have anybody on the text line who can tell me they want the Bison to do well to represent the FCS well. I'm not buying it. I'm here to tell you I'm not doing it myself. I mean, these guys, you know why I'm not really, too, is NDSU kind of, I don't know what it is. They just think they're a little bit something. What is that? Maybe it's all the national titles. Congrats, guys. They just think they're a little bit something, and I don't like it. They actually think they're going to walk into the Mountain West and run roughshod here. NDSU actually thinks they're going to run it. And you got people like Brett McMurphy. Hey, I like you, Brett. National college football reporter. He's been on the Nate Brown Show. He's great. He thinks they're going to run. He thinks they're going to run through the Mountain West. Come on, give me a break. So I'm not rooting for them, and I think they're a little cocky, and that's partly why I'm not. Why we got to take this North Dakota State mini helmet out of this studio? We have a North Dakota. We have all these banners. We have all this stuff. South Dakota State USD. That's all great. Do I have to take this North Dakota State helmet out of the studio? Are we going to have to move this when they enter the Mountain West? It starts Wednesday. It's officially Wednesday. Let's see. Lister text, is North Dakota now the better Dakota since they have an FBS team? Never. I can't. That'll never happen. Lister text, never. This is all capitalized. I think he's mad or he's passionate. This is all capitalized on the listener text. Never cheer for NDSU. I like that. Finally, some passion. Okay? Finally, some passion. Let's say I only care about the NFL Jacks. Can care less what division they play in. It's all about cheering for my guys in the NFL. And please quit calling it Twitter. Oh, he doesn't like that. Is it X? Okay. Twitter had a bigger brand, but nonetheless. Let's see here. Lister text, hoping the Bison get throttled every game. Well, now we got some people here. Now we finally have. This is making me happy today. It's making me happy. Wait. So hang on. I want to go back to. I only care about the NFL Jacks. Can care less what division they play in. It's all about cheering for my guys in the NFL. So wait. Are you rooting for NDSU or are you not? You only care about, you got to care about the Jacks. You got to care about the college program, not just the Jacks that go on to the NFL, right? Let's see. Lister text, as a UND alum, we call ourselves the Upper Dakota. The Upper Dakota. Uppity? Is that what you're saying? Last one. Could care less. I'm only interested in players making the NFL. Well, that's what. Yeah, I don't understand that. But All right. I know what you're saying, but the question is, are you secretly rooting for NDSU to do well in the Mountain West to represent the FCS? Jack's in the FCS. Yotes in the FCS. I know there's people that think, well, if NDSU does good, that makes the FCS look pretty good. It makes us see how we play with the big dogs. And see, I told you, don't put the FCS down. There is a portion of fans that say that. I would never go down that road. As a matter of fact, I'm not going down that road. No rooting for NDSU here. No rooting for NDSU here. As a matter of fact, I don't know who I'd root for. Maybe Sac State. I'll root for them against Sac State. Their opening game. I'll root for them again because Sac State's a mess. Thor Nystrom's on as we kick off the show. Talking NFC North, Vikings, and more. Thor Nystrom from Minneapolis with Score North coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Gear up and tow safely this 4th of July weekend with help from Menards. From hitches to ratchet straps and everything in between, we've got all your hauling needs covered. Tow smarter with a Tow Smart ball mount trailer hitch. It's built with durable steel that resists rust and corrosion. Pick one up. On sale now through July 5th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
July 3rd, Brandon Jones kicks off the night at Main Street Square, hitting the stage at 7:30. The Real America Birthday Bash adds something historic to the lineup. Watch the return of fireworks to Mount Rushmore live right here in downtown Rapid City. George, Tom, Teddy, and Abe lights up for America's 250th, and we're watching it together as a city. 5 days, 2 stages, free admission. This is what 250 looks like. Real America Birthday Bash, July 1st through the 5th, realamericaBirthdayBash.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A wind advisory continues until 8 p.m. tonight. Highs level off around 82 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies. Southwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 53. Tonight, clear skies. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 89. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 78 degrees.
This summer, drive with certified confidence at Denny Mennel Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 1.29% APR on Honda certified pre-owned. Choose from Accords, CRVs, and HRVs with financing as low as 1.29% APR. Plus, shop a massive selection of used imports and domestics with over 340 used vehicles. Finding the right one for you is easy. Drive with confidence all summer long. See us at Denny Mennel Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited with qualified credit. Expires 6/30/26.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life. 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop your repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
All right. right, we're off and running on a Monday, 4th of July week. We are in today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Then we're taking some time off, 4th of July and into next week a little bit. So happy summer. Happy 4th of July. 250th birthday celebration. How about this? Great country in South Dakota, great state. Appreciate you being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show, live on Fox Sports Radio in Sioux Falls on KWSN and here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. Busy show tonight. Boy, fun question of the day. Everybody's sounding off. Hey, getting a little passion. I like that. Will you root for NDSU at all in the Mountain West? They joined the FBS officially this week on Wednesday. Will you root for them at all in the Mountain West to represent the FCS well, now that they're stepping up? A lot of people on the text line say no. Well, I finally got some Go Bisons. I did. I finally got some Go Bisons. They're out there, folks. You are out there. Thor Nystrom's on tonight. Appreciate his time. Covers the Vikings. Best coverage. They have a great company. A lot of content. Score North. Talking NFL and the Vikings with Thor Nystrom. He's on X at ThorKU. Thor, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Good, man. I appreciate your time. I want to talk to you about a few things. I want to get your read on some coaches that are on the hot seat, and some people have said Kevin O'Connell. So I want to get to that, but first, let me get into the NFC North breakdown. Vikings are last when it comes to Las Vegas, saying over-under win total. They've got them at 8.5. Vikings won 9 games last year. How do you see the 8.5 right off the bat?
I think it's a fair number in lieu of that, and you're turning over your defensive front position. You're turning over a couple position groups on the team. I think it's a fair win total. It's the same number that it was last year, and the Vikings covered that by the skin of their teeth by going 5-0 down the stretch. Obviously, kind of fattened up on when the games didn't mean as much to some of the opponents. But I think 8.5 is probably the correct number for the Vikings.
Okay, so you think that's okay? Who do you see as the leader in the clubhouse? Lions are at 10.5. Packers are at 10.5. Are either one of those going to be better than the other?
I would love to fade the Lions. I think there's signals there that the regression is just going to continue, and obviously today with the Terrion Arnold news and the Lions releasing him, it was already a bad room there, and obviously an enormous distraction, a terrible situation there. But they play such an easy schedule. So that's like, the Lions drawing the last place schedule there. It's one of the easiest schedules in the entire NFL. So you wonder if they can sort of bob back to the surface, regress back to the mean, I guess, on the strength of that schedule. So that's why that's a hard one. And then I would be bullish on the Packers, except for the Micah Parsons stuff. And the brothers saying last week or the week before that it's going to be mid-season, more like that. He's not going to come back the 5th game right after the PUP list. And if you're out Micah Parsons half the season, the Packers' defense is totally different when Parsons isn't on the field. So both those teams, and then the Bears as well. I mean, people have made the point of the one possession wins that they had last year. It's totally unsustainable. Usually, you see the teams that are awesome with the last 2-minute comebacks, and then the one possession wins that neutralizes. In the years after that. So it's a really hard division to put your finger on, and all 4 of the teams are competitive.
Okay, speaking of the Packers, so as a Vikings guy, Thor, I got Packer fans that text in, and some are with Matt LaFleur, saying, okay, extension was great, this is the guy. Some are with Jordan Love, saying that this is our QB. So I would talk about those two guys. As a Vikings guy, do you see Jordan Love as, without a doubt, he is the guy, Green Bay, franchise QB, end of story?
I want to see him I want to see him this year. I want to see him when they have to throw more to win. If Jacobs, the status at the beginning of the year, the run game might not be as good there. And then if the defense is playing down without Parsons, the system there, like Jordan Love coming out, he had all kinds of arm talent, but the bugaboo with him at Utah State was the decision making, and he put the ball up for grabs, and he got intercepted a lot in college. And you tip your hat to him cutting that down. But part of that is the play calling, and the Packers will go super run heavy, when they have an advantage in the game, and sort of skew super conservative with the game script. And I just wonder when he has to take a bigger sort of portion of the offense and the team success there, how that's going to go. So for me, it's wait and see. I mean, of course he's a solid starting quarterback, but like if you're talking of like an upper echelon in the entire NFL, he's got to prove that he can kind of raise the tide of everyone there.
What do you think of Matt LaFleur as a head coach? Some Packer fans are thinking, he hasn't gotten us really far, but everybody thinks he's a whiz. So what's the real story on LaFleur?
I think he's a solid coach, but I think I have similar trepidation probably with him that some of the Packer fans do, where it's that same thing I was talking about like he's a good play caller and he's a solid tactician, everything like that. It's just he skews super conservative, and I wonder, and some of the fan base there of like, does this guy have what it takes to get the team to the next level and killer instinct in the playoffs, et cetera? That stuff is still kind of wait and see. So I think a lot of this stuff, the next couple of years, the Packers contention window, it's sort of that with the draft picks that they've traded and their cap situation and stuff. The jury kind of out with both those regards to Love and LaFleur, and I think we're going to have a lot more answers here the next couple of years.
Thor Nystrom in tonight talking NFC North, Vikings coverage from Score North and the crew. Find him on X at ThorKU. Last one we didn't talk about, Bears. 9.5 wins. You said the Vikings had 8.5 is about right. Sort of the Bears step back a little bit, 9.5.
I would expect that, yeah, just because of all those comeback wins and all the close wins last year. I just don't see it as sustainable. And the Bears won some of them were just flukes. That when they came back on the Vikings at the end of regulation, the game at US Bank Stadium, that was because the Vikings didn't cover a Devin Duvernay kickoff return when they had him dead to rights. All they had to do was tackle him on his side of the field, and they couldn't do it. So the Bears got the long field goal there, and then the Bears manufactured some of these comebacks with Ben Johnson play calling, and you can only sort of sneak up on the league with regards to that your early years there, and then they sort of catch up. So, but I was mentioning my trepidations with each of the other teams in the division before. So that the Bears going to a tougher schedule now, you expect regression. The signals you get from that. But if the Lions fall back, or even further than they were last year, and if the Packers they struggle a little bit without Parsons, that's where I could see the Bears sort of remaining kind of treading water, but I definitely would not bet the over on that 9.5. I think that one would be an under or stay away.
Okay, let's get into the Vikings. Some lists I've been looking at, Thor, of coach lists going into 2026. Kevin O'Connell's been listed as a hot seat guy that has to get to the playoffs and maybe do something there. So what do you think the real feeling is inside the organization here, because McCarthy's year last year didn't go as planned. He was injured before. Now they go Kyler Murray and McCarthy. What do you think the feeling is like on O'Connell this year?
He's an unorthodox hot seat kind of candidate in that he definitely is not on the hot seat right now. And in fact, you could argue that this offseason kind of his power position there was galvanized when they got rid of Kwesi and brought in a new, the front office there. But that was Kevin O'Connell was on the search committee with that, and Kevin and his prerogative may or may not have led to Kwesi being on the hot seat in the first place there. So you're in sort of that good position. He's seen well by the owners, but if you get out of another season here and you either don't make the playoffs or you squeeze in again and then you lose in the first round again, that would be 5 years without a playoff win. The last 25 years, there's only been 2 other instances where a coach was brought back for a 6th season when he didn't win a playoff game in the first 5 seasons. Nate, do you want to play trivia? Do you happen to know who those 2 coaches were?
I do not know that, but you do.
Marvin Lewis with the Bengals, and Marvin Lewis, he went something like 0-9 in the playoffs. He never won a playoff game there. They did end up making it, but yeah, never won one. The success story in the very small sample, it's Gary Kubiak with the Texans. They didn't win a playoff game their first 5 years, and then the 6th year they got in and they beat Marvin Lewis's Cincinnati Bengals, and then Kubiak later on won a Super Bowl. You know, that was the moonlight year with Peyton Manning there at the end with the Broncos. But that's the thing, like if you, especially if the Vikings miss the playoffs, and especially if they miss the playoffs, well, Kevin O'Connell pulled the plug on his hand-selected top 10 quarterback, and you don't really have a future plan at that position other than, well, we could use a first-round pick on it. But our head coach, the quarterback guru, has never developed a quarterback in his career. So I think that's where the argument would go against him and would find himself on the not only the hot seat really quick, but that's where he could get fired at the end of the season.
Hey, Thor, how long can this quarterback competition go legitimately as we get into August here? How long do you think it could go?
Man, that's the $1 million question around here. I only have a theory on this, and this is, like, I said this right when they said the competition, like, if you're going to do right by the competition, i.e., we are going to labor to find the best guy here, but then also give that guy, whoever you pick to be the starter, long enough for to build the offense around him, because JJ and Kyler, they don't play the same way. You're going to have modifications of the offense depending on which guy you go with, and then, of course, have that guy build chemistry by the end of camp, getting all the snaps there. For me, it's either after the first preseason game or you could go to immediately after the second. You can't go any longer than that. It's going to have to be somewhere in there, but I would assume that this quote-unquote quarterback competition, that the winner is not announced before the first preseason game. So I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle where they ultimately announce who the starting quarterback is. But that's not based on information. That's just my conjecture, what I think makes the most sense, just to be clear.
Thor Nystrom in the Twin Cities, covers the Vikings. Score North. Last one, you sent a message out there on the Brendan Sorsby thing. NFL doesn't do the supplemental draft, so he's shut out. CFL shuts him out. Did you think the NFL should have at least given the teams a chance, or what's your thoughts on Sorsby?
I definitely think they should have. They're sort of going against the precedent to sort of one-off the punishment on Sorsby. I don't like when professional leagues just start going against their precedent and rewriting rules. You know, in this case to exclude this kid apparently until the 2027 draft. But why not give the opportunity to the teams? I mean, that's the way the rule is written up. You just have to apply by a certain date if you lose your eligibility. Sorsby did that. The NFL story that they came out with, that was quickly contradicted by the agent. They were in touch, asking about the supplemental process, and they went through the process to apply for it. So the league is sort of making a new rule here to make an example of Brendan Sorsby, and then the CFL jumped up and they did their virtue signal thing, as well. I understand that the integrity of the game questions. It's a little rich, though, for an organization like the NFL that is now in bed with all these sports betting, companies on the one side and all the different ads. Every time we listen to an NFL podcast, we watch an NFL game, you're just inundated with it. Even like you see the graphics on the bottom of the screen, but then this one kid, you're putting them pretty, not to a lifetime ban, but you're pushing it closer to that. In their own statement where they announced it, the NFL was like, well, you can apply for the 2027 draft, and basically we'll see if you get in then. I just think it sets a little bit of a dangerous precedent, and that league being the one to do it is a bit rich for me.
Thor Nystrom, great to have him. Vikings coverage, Score North and on X at Thor KU. Thor, appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you, Nick.
Appreciate your time. Thor Nystrom from the Twin Cities, the crew at Score North, covering the Vikings. Great coverage from Thor Nystrom and the team. He's on X at Thor KU. For Vikings fans, give him a follow. All right, good stuff from Thor. He thinks the Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy competition could go into at least the preseason. Question of the day. North Dakota State officially joins the FBS this Wednesday. It's official. Do you find yourself secretly rooting for NDSU to do well in the Mountain West this year, to represent the FCS well? That's our question of the day on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Listener text just came in. Would love to see Air Force run for 500 yards on the Bison. Now we're talking. Good stuff. Keep it coming. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line. Would you secretly root for NDSU to do well in the Mountain West this year to represent the FCS well? Let me know. Mike McFeely's coming up from Fargo. But first, Jerry Brewer, columnist for The Athletic. Is this really going to happen? One of the biggest names in the NBA to a new team joining another huge name? Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale starts now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now's the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on your drive home. Fox Sports Radio across the state. Fox Sports Rapid City. We're live. KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Reaction Monday is on tap. Next hour, Rob Kegron, national radio host, is our guest host every Monday. Full hour, next hour, with Rob Kegron in Reaction Monday straight ahead. Mike McFeely coming up from Fargo, North Dakota. He bids farewell to the FCS for the North Dakota State Bison. They officially join the FBS Wednesday. We'll get Mike's read on our question of the day. Have a little fun with Mike. Jerry Brewer's covering the World Cup, so we appreciate his time. Columnist, The Athletic. Great coverage of the World Cup. He's been in Seattle. Find him on X at Jerry Brewer. Jerry, welcome in. How are you?
I am doing well, Nate. You know, Reaction Monday sounds so sane and sensible. I'm very proud of you.
I love it. Thank you very much. No hot takes here. By the way, let me get your take. The World Cup frenzy. What has it been like covering it? The crowds, all of this. I've known a couple of guys from here that have went to matches. This has just been outstanding. They went to Argentina the other night. What's your read as covering it? You've covered a lot of big events. How about USA hosting the World Cup?
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I've because the U.S. has been west. I've been L.A., Seattle, back to L.A. Then I'll go to the Bay Area tomorrow ahead of Wednesday's round of 32 game, and vibes have been wonderful. You know, I mean, we've talked a lot about division in this country over the last 10 years, if not longer. I mean, and part of the American experience is needing to live with the fact that your perspective isn't the only perspective that's out there, and we're free to express it all. And I think, I don't know if it's like technology, the pandemic, just the avalanche of stuff that we've been through. I think we've been led to believe that we don't have as much in common as we do. And it's nice to see a global event on our soil. And it's not like the success of the World Cup hasn't been that the U.S. seems to be better than what we thought they were going to be. It's also been about seeing some of the greatest athletes on the planet just showing out here and seeing how much soccer means to the rest of the world. And, even with the sort of uneven travel bans and policies that we have about who can get in the country right now, a lot of these nations have come and their visitors have blessed us with the kind of joy. You know, one thing I talk about or think about a lot, Nate, is it's kind of like a family reunion where the family's been feuding. But all of a sudden, you throw the big party, and you've got not only your family, but the people who married into the family or the boyfriends or girlfriends, and then they start showing you how great your family is, and you have to step back and say, you know what, maybe we aren't so bad, and that's what the first 18 days of this World Cup have felt like.
I want to get your take on the U.S. men's national team losing last week. Last second, they lost. They didn't play our number one guys. Pulisic comes in, gets a little bit of action late. Did that matter at all, do you think, just in the psyche? Does that stuff matter for Wednesday?
I don't think it matters one bit. Because there wasn't a second in that match where they were putting their absolute best foot forward. You know, they tried to win it, and it was really cool to see them play from ahead and score again. But I think some of the things that broke down that contributed to them losing, there's a higher quality player or two or three or four or five who are going to be on the pitch who against Bosnia, where maybe some of those things don't happen, right? I don't think this team is as good as we thought they were in the first half against Paraguay, or as good as they were opening against Australia. And really from the second half of Australia on, it's been kind of a comeback to earth. But I like that, Nate. I don't always want to judge you when you're at your hottest. I want to see when you start to show some warts. I want to see what happens when you don't have absolute momentum and then like I get to step back and say, okay, do I think you're good or not? I think they're a pretty good team, and I think they've got a decent little draw and a chance to get to the quarterfinals. And I kind of look at that. I'm just like, if they can get to the quarterfinals, then we'll see what happens. And it's going to get tougher, right? I don't think they're going to have a tremendous challenge against Bosnia. I think they'll get through that. If it's Belgium that they wind up playing back here in Seattle in the round of 16, Belgium looked really good against the U.S. in the run-up to this. I think they had scored 5 goals in a victory. But something feels different about this Belgium team. They seem like they're really, really old, like they're golden generation guys are well into their 30s. And it just feels like the U.S. team was just figuring itself out back then, and now they know who they are, and they're going to be playing in front of crowds. Like the knockout, if you thought like the vibe of those 3 matches that they've had already impressed you, like wait until it gets back to like what we're used to, right? Like we know what one and done is like. And I think the atmospheres there are going to be so crazy that it's going to make them a little better than what they actually are.
17 million people even watched the game against Turkey, which wasn't that important for the U.S. 17 million coming in on that. So if you're not following this, U.S. men's national team playing Bosnia Wednesday night. It's a round of 32. You win that, probably going to get Belgium, Senegal maybe, but probably going to get Belgium, and then you win that. Now you're in the top 8, the final 8, the quarterfinals. Jerry Brewer covering it Wednesday night, U.S. men's national team against Bosnia for The Athletic. Let me switch to the NBA. You've covered it. I want to get your take on LaMelo Ball. A lot of Wolves fans up here in South Dakota. LaMelo Ball's going to the Wolves, joining Anthony Edwards, and you say what about that backcourt?
Well, I love LaMelo's talent and his court vision. I still have tremendous questions about his maturity. He's been better to start his NBA career than I thought he was going to be, but he's hurt a lot. Like that's the biggest weakness, and I worry sometimes if Anthony Edwards has to be the more mature guy in the room, right? Like I think one of the reasons that the Wolves have been so competitive the last 3 years, particularly the 2 years before with Ant, was they had veterans around him. And he was able to be the guy who could make some mistakes, but you had guys in the locker room who are going to keep him in line. I think they got to get more talented, especially in that backcourt. And so they took this chance. But now Ant's got to be a culture setter with LaMelo. And can he do that? That's going to be real interesting. And then now they're incredibly small, right, Nate? You look at Naz Reid is gone. Julius Randle is gone. Yeah. And, like, Jaden McDaniels going to play power forward now? Like, Jaden McDaniels weighs 190 pounds, soaking wet. So, like, are they going to be able to get some people to come to Minnesota who are for a bargain? Like, people don't tend to do that in NBA free agency. I hope it works because I really like Finch. I love Ant as a talent and as a personality. I think Rudy Gobert has gotten a bad rap in the second half of his career, and I just like the guts of that team, and I'd like to see them have a chance to take it a step further. But I know part of this is to match up better with Oklahoma City and the Spurs, but at least you have a creator out there on the floor, another creator, but they're going to be hunting LaMelo Ball like crazy when he's on defense. And can he stop any of those elite guards for the Spurs or Shea and that group of pit bulls on the Thunder? Like, I have serious questions about that.
Last one for Jerry Brewer. Reports out saying the Warriors are trying to pull off the LeBron James and Anthony Davis to the Warriors trade. You think that works?
No. Do I want to see it happen? Yes. I think it would be funny, and I tend to think something like that might be actually good for the NBA. I was thinking about this morning when their plan was being floated in the media, Nate, was I remember when Jordan came back as a Wizard, And that was at a time when the NBA was really in this post-Jordan malaise. And I think 2 years later, they were out of that post-Jordan malaise because I think we had gotten enough of Jordan out of our system. And, yeah, we saw him come back as an older guy, and he still averaged 20 in his final year. I think he played all 82 games. But it was clear, like, hey, Mike is not one of the best 10 players in the league.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? Like, it was time. It was time for us to respect Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady or Kobe Bryant or Dirk Nowitzki, like all of those guys. And I do realize that one of the reasons that the quality of play shot up in the post-Jordan era was that they changed the rules and allowed the freedom of movement that we now look at and say this is really soft basketball. But I think it was going to be on the upswing anyway, even if they hadn't changed those rules, and we just needed to recondition our minds that it was over. Now, why did I think about that when I thought about LeBron joining the Warriors and the super old team? This might be a gift to us from the standpoint of we get a little bit of drama to see how good they are, but the better benefit is when this is over, I think we'll be ready to say, you know what, LeBron, 41, Steph, you're about to turn 39, it's time to move on. And sometimes, like, I don't think they're going to just, like, fall flat on their face and embarrass themselves, but I do think at best they're playing for the number 3 seed in the West if they're able to put that thing together. And they're likely going to get beat in the conference semifinals if they go this route. And when that happens, I think everybody will be ready to let go. So that unintentionally, the unintended consequence here could be a gift to basketball.
Very interesting. I will tell you, that will be interesting. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Steph, Draymond, they're trying to put a plan together, reports out this morning. Jerry Brewer on tonight. He's back to the World Cup. U.S. men's national team, Bosnia Wednesday night in the Bay Area. He's with The Athletic. Great coverage. Jerry, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Oh, anytime, man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Jerry Brewer on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Great writer, columnist for The Athletic, covering Wednesday night, U.S. men's national team against Bosnia. He's on X at Jerry Brewer. Yeah, I mean, there's more on that. That just came out this morning, that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to try and get to the Warriors. Draymond Green's going to stay there. He'd take less money. So it'd be Steph, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Draymond Green. And by the way, Draymond Green, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis have the same agent. So they're working this deal trying to get to the Warriors. Now, wouldn't that be something to watch? Wow. Let's go to North Dakota. Mike McFeely bids farewell to the FCS. Mike McFeely with Inforum covers the Bison. He's next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale starts now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now's the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show on tonight. Glad you're here. Fox Sports Radio across the state. Our affiliates, Fox Sports Rapid City, also KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in on X at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live today. Not going to be doing a video stream tomorrow or Wednesday. We will be live on Fox Sports Radio across the state in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, but no video stream tomorrow and Wednesday. Just a little heads up radio show tomorrow and Wednesday. And then I'm going to take a little vacation. 4th of July into next week, taking a little vacation. Speaking of vacation, this guy just got back and he's got a new piece out. Inforum.com columnist Mike McFeely bids farewell to the FCS as North Dakota State officially joins the FBS Wednesday. Mike, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well because I just had 10 days off of work, and I'm just back today. And then I'm taking off again on Thursday for the 4th of July weekend. So I'm getting my time in now before all the madness of the Mountain West and FBS starts in mid-July.
Okay, I like it. So you're back in. I thought your piece was good here, and you say bid farewell to the FCS. Great memories in the FCS. Nothing negative to say about the FCS. You tell me.
Well, I mean, I think I've been fairly open the last 5-6 years that I thought that the FCS has been diminished by losing all the teams that it's lost. You know, you're talking about James Madison. Going back way farther, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern was a great rival for a couple of years of North Dakota State. Jacksonville State had a good run there for a while. Sam Houston, of course, probably did more with less, but they also left. And then you look at the schools like the Kennesaws and the Delawares and the Missouri States, and maybe you're looking at schools that even had a potential to be good, have left the subdivision, and they were being replaced by, the North Alabamas, which just can't find their footing, and it's a lesser subdivision than it was when NDSU first got in it. But I just cautioned NDSU fans and maybe even myself a little bit today. The FCS was really, really good to NDSU. I mean, there were 8 championships before FCS for NDSU, but the 10 that they won in FCS, and all the big victories and all the great players and all of those things that have happened since 2004 have made NDSU football what it is today. And so if fans are thinking about, dumping on the FCS and trashing it when they're going out the door, I think that's the wrong approach. And I think that they should, leave FCS with a debt of gratitude for what it did for North Dakota State.
Okay, I have a question of the day to my audience, and mainly South Dakota people. I think there must be some North Dakota fans that are chiming in here, but here it is. I said, do you secretly want NDSU to do well in the FBS to represent the FCS well? So do you want them to do well in this first season of the Mountain West? I asked my audience. 53% say yes. Are you surprised by that?
I am, actually, yes. I would suspect that there's an awful lot of people who would like to see North Dakota State go 5-7 in their first year in FBS and never have any more success ever again, just because the reaction after an NDSU loss, even after the Illinois State loss, was always just so over the top. And maybe it's just social media, maybe that's that world, but I always got the sense from opposing fan bases and even opposing media, if that's the right word, opposing, the media that covers NDSU's games from other towns, that they didn't care if North Dakota State lost and, in fact, would prefer it. So that 53% does surprise me. I thought it would have been about 40-60 against in that, the way you worded your question.
It is interesting. Now, there's some. I do think there's some of this because I've been there. So my brother played at Wyoming, and so they're in the Mountain West. And whenever like Boise State would play somebody big, like in the playoff or something like that, or in a big bowl game like Oklahoma back in the day, I would root for Boise State just to represent the Mountain West well. You know what I'm saying? So. Are there FCS teams saying, hey, we want NDSU to show some respect for the FCS and do well? That must be what it is.
It must be, and I think you saw some of that with James Madison when it moved up in 2022, I want to say it was. And they were actually pretty good right away. And I think that there was, at least in the case of North Dakota State fans that I was talking to, they liked seeing James Madison do well because I think that they thought it would make NDSU more attractive than to the FBS.
Sure.
That that if NDSU and James Madison had a nice little playoff rivalry there for 5 or 6 years, and while as good as James Madison was, they only beat NDSU one time. NDSU, I think, won the other 5 games between them, and so I think there was a bit of, hey, if these other FBS schools and conferences can see that James Madison is really good in the group of 6, well, you know what? NDSU might even be better because they were better than James Madison for all those years. Maybe that's the thinking. Maybe there are Jackrabbit fans out there that would like to see NDSU do well, and maybe the Mountain West then says, hey, they did so well, maybe we need to take South Dakota State too. If that's what South Dakota State desires. I don't know if it is or not, but I think maybe some of the fans would like to see that.
We'll see where this goes. Follow him at McFeely_Inforum. He's on Inforum.com with a new piece bidding farewell to the FCS. North Dakota State going FBS officially on Wednesday, July 1st. Mike McFeely's on tonight. I do want to get your take on this Congress bill before I let you run. I don't know if it's ever going to hit the floor or not. John Thune is supposed to bring it to a vote, but things get so caught up in every which way. I don't know if it's going to, but Protect College Sports Act, your colleague Dom Izzo said, hey, he doesn't like some of the stuff in it, like the one-time transfer, even though it may help at NDSU. He says, do we have to limit it like that again for the players? Where do you stand? One-time transfer, doesn't that help NDSU and SDSU and other teams?
I think it would help all the small schools, I think, for sure. Although, to the extent that it would help, I don't know, because NDSU is losing their best kids, and it only takes a kid to leave one time, and they're gone. They're not leaving and coming back, and so I don't know how much it would help NDSU. I would like to see some sort of stability back in college sports. I am all for players being able to transfer. I'm all for them getting paid a reasonable amount of money, whatever the definition of reasonable might be, and that's where you get into the weeds on some of this stuff. But it's been, 5-6 years now of chaos in college sports, and for me, it's getting old. At some point, there has to be some guidelines, and there has to be some guardrails to try to... It's never going to go back to the way it was, which I think is what some people want. And even President Trump, I think, at his roundtable said, we want things to be the way they were. They're not going to be the way they were. But can we get some sort of rules and guidelines that can be followed that everybody can kind of sort of agree on just to bring some stability back to college sports? I actually think that if this thing does pass the way it's written right now, and I think the chances of that, like you, I don't think the chances are great of that happening. But if it passes as it is written right now, I think that could help NDSU because it would bring some stability to the conferences. Because the big takeaway from all this is Cruz and Cantwell's bill would stop realignment among the top 4 conferences:
right.
the SEC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC. Well, if realignment at the top stops, that would, I think, keep the group of 6 conferences stable as well, and then NDSU wouldn't be back in a position where there's teams coming and going from their league, because the rumor out there, of course, always is that UNLV is looking around to the Big 12, and maybe Air Force wants to get to the AAC. So if realignment stops, I think that's a good thing for NDSU because they're already in. But again, I don't know the chance of this thing passing, even if it does get to the floor.
Mike McFeely in tonight. Great story out there. I thought it was well done. Inforum.com. NDSU joins the FBS. We knew it was happening. It officially goes on Wednesday, July 1st.
July 1, baby. July 1.
And
official. $7 million. What's going into the Mountain West coffers from NDSU that day? $7 million.
Write that check. And get ready for EA Sports College Football. We have a new leader in the clubhouse. Jeff Kolpak thinks he's going to beat you and us. He thinks he could beat anybody.
I have a question. Why is he glomming on to my bit here? Well, I mean, this is me and Matt and myself, your guy, Ernie. I thought it was between him and I. Why is Kolpak leeching on to us? Tell him to take a hike, man.
I'm asking everybody because we're going to do a tournament. All right. Appreciate you, man. Have a great week.
See ya.
Thanks a lot. Mike McFeely on tonight, Inforum.com, and the next guy up in the EA Sports College Football Tournament, Matt Kearney against Mike McFeely, Game 1, the showdown you didn't know you needed. I'll take Kearney big time. Big time. He's going to be Boise State, and Mike's going to be NDSU. Player ratings are out. Good luck. Reaction Monday is next. Rob Kegron's ready to go. We got a lot to discuss, including a famous athlete was in the Black Hills this last week. Let's get going next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Standing water or high humidity? Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call Blackburn. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call Blackburn. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Call Blackburn Foundation Repair today.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Shop Black Hill's best selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs at Danny Meno Rapid Chevrolet. You could buy with no money down and no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. Choose from GMCs, Rams, Fords, Chevys, Jeeps, imports, and more, with over 330 to choose from. With no money down and make no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. 16 local and national lenders available and all applications accepted. See us at Danny Meno Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMenoRapidChevrolet.com.
Are you tired of being pointed to a wall of shoes? At Trav's Outfitter, we know better. Buying shoes shouldn't be guesswork. That's why we find the right footwear for the way you move, whether you're walking, working, or just on your feet all day. Athletics, work boots, Western boots, everyday comfort. Because when the fit is right, life is better. Come find us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Play at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort this summer, and you'll qualify for $25,000 Sizzling Saturdays. 3 players will be drawn every Saturday to grab their share of $25,000 in cash and prizes. Play all month long with the Clubhouse card and earn entries automatically. There are loads of prizes, including up to $5,000 cash, and this month's featured prize, a 42-inch zero-turn lawnmower. It's all happening at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, and it's happening all summer long. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, are you ready? We are ready for a Reaction Monday. Rob Kagron is in. This is it for this week. We're going to be taking a little break for the 4th of July, America's 250th birthday. Rob's going to be running that drone show. I mean, so big things happening this week.
Running away from it.
Big things happening. So get ready. We're in tonight, ready to go. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. And Fox Sports Rapid City. A Reaction Monday. A lot to discuss. You would have thought, sleepy. It's 4th of July week. It's summer. Man, World Cup's off the chain. You got great knockout games. You got the U.S. men's national team Wednesday night. You got good stuff going on. And then you got this NBA stuff's now getting wild. So there's a lot to discuss. First, I'm going to do a little switcheroo on Rob Kagron here. First, we had a famous athlete in the Black Hills this last week, okay? And I turned it into my question of the day. I'm going to throw it out there for the audience. So he's done this now the last couple of years. There's some connection. I haven't ran into him, but Tampa Bay QB Baker Mayfield's been coming to the Black Hills the last couple of years, and people run into him. He plays golf. Have you played golf with Baker Mayfield?
I have not gotten the invitation to play with him yet, but I'll extend an invitation to him to play at Arrowhead, my course, next time he comes for sure.
Okay, we should think about that because he comes. I think it's been like the last 2 summers. And I get these texts, people to run into him. I never do, but I get messages. I had a friend of mine was on the plane.
Yep.
And say, hey, Baker's here. Had his son there, take a picture with him. And then I got to thinking, and I got 2 pictures of Baker Mayfield on my phone with people that I know. And I got to thinking, hang on, let's see. I've seen a lot of famous athletes. You've covered it. We're in the media, so you got to be careful with how you interact with athletes. It's supposed to be work, professional, the whole thing. So I tend to, when I see athletes, do not do the picture. Now, I'm going to ask you, Rob Kagron, I know what type of guy you are, and you're a, look at me, hey, and he wants to get a picture. Can we do the picture? Baker Mayfield in the Black Hills. That's one. I mean, he's a what? B list. I mean, he's an NFL QB.
He's a QB. He's a QB.
NFL QB, Heisman Trophy, #1 pick. I mean, so he's up there. And let's say it's Baker, whoever it is. Are you the ask for a picture guy with athletes? And this is a question of the day for the audience. I'd like your feedback. Is this okay? You got to ask for the picture. Because you know what I did 2 years ago? I was in Las Vegas. I have this story. I was in the elevator, my family with Caitlin Clark. No autographs. Their security was saying no autographs to everybody. She got in our elevator. She offered an autograph to my youngest daughter, so I appreciate that. We didn't ask for the picture. You know what everybody told me when I got back? Why didn't you get a picture? I'm not an ask for a picture guy. Are you?
You will not be surprised to know that I absolutely am asked for the picture guy.
Come on.
I am not an autograph guy.
Why?
I never cared about autographs. I've had plenty of interactions with athletes, some real famous ones. And sometimes, here's what I will say. If I'm actually having an interaction with them, and I've had a number of these, like where, it goes on for quite a while, or you're hanging out with someone, then I won't do it, right? Because the experience alone that I can tell that story of, I spent a half an hour with this guy. I can think of the Manning brothers, right? And I spent like 45 minutes with them because I know their agent. And I was a huge Giant fan, but I didn't ask for a photo because I had this interaction.
Eli Manning, that's the guy.
Yeah, but it feels a little odd when you're hanging out with someone and then you become like all fanboy about it at the end, like, oh, do you mind if I get a photo? Like, as if people aren't going to believe that when I tell them the story that I spent 45 minutes with them. But when it's like a quick interaction, like just, let's just say this, like if I was at that golf course last week and I saw Baker, I probably would have went up to him like,
you would have.
Hey, Baker, big fan, even though I'm not a big fan, and I'd take the photo with him for sure.
So that's interesting. That seems more rude to me. That seems more rude, not... it's like, hey, you got to know Eli. You're there with Eli. You should say, hey, Eli, you mind to get a picture here? It's okay to get a picture. Instead, you're running up like a fanboy. Like, here's the thing. Michael Jordan was walking through the streets of Sicily this weekend.
Yep.
So he's walking through the streets. There was a couple of guys who recognized him. Some people just let him go. You see Michael Jordan walking through the streets, you're going to get a picture?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, Mike, and I just take a quick selfie so it doesn't bother him, right? Mike, you mind just one quick photo?
Yeah, I'm sure. What's Mike going to say to you?
He'd probably tell me to get out and leave him alone.
Okay, that's my question of the day to the audience. 605-720-1067. Are you an ask for a picture guy with athletes? Now, the other factor is we both have kids. The kids thing is different. Like my buddy who saw Baker on the plane, he took a picture with his kid. I'm not sure if he got the picture himself. The kids thing, that's all good, right?
Absolutely. Any kid interaction with an athlete, no matter how much they like or don't like the team or the athlete, I'm completely for. And any decent athlete is going to absolutely say yes to photos with kids.
Okay, so Matt Kearney's a big race guy, big race fan. He said he would not take a picture with his favorite driver. He would not ask for the picture.
So what would he do? Just say hello and then keep walking?
I guess. He said he's not going to be. And by the way, I was conditioned on that. I covered the Wizards back in D.C. Jordan was there. Now, when you're in the media, you can't go down that road at all.
No, I would completely agree. If you're covering the team, covering an event, I don't... Here's what I would say. Like, if you're covering the team and you're having, like, you're doing a quick interview with someone, right? Like, even, like, just 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, I think it's fine to take a photo then, right?
Oh, it is.
To promote it, right? I think absolutely it's fine. I think if you're writing a story on someone and now you want to take a photo, then I think that's a bit odd. Or if you're just covering the team, I don't think that's the appropriate thing to do when you're covering them. But I think it's okay if you've done something with them and you want to promote that.
So I had Steve Spurrier in my golf cart. I was shuttling him from his car to the TV set. Steve Spurrier, head coach of the Washington Redskins back in the day.
Yep.
And this is when he came from college, and he's a big star. And I did not ask for a picture. I was just a young guy shuttling Steve Spurrier and Marvin Lewis, who was the defensive coordinator, became the head coach of the Bengals. No picture. Should I have asked Steve Spurrier, hey, Steve, a little quick picture here?
I think you would have been fine. I think in that interaction, absolutely.
I can't do that.
You can't do that. It's a cool memory at that point then, right? And something that you can look back at for years to come. Not that Steve Spurrier is that big of a deal, but I mean, there are people
back in the day, pretty big.
Certainly, at that moment for sure. A very successful coach in college, so yeah, absolutely, I would have been fine with that.
I'm asking the audience, if you run into a famous athlete like me 2 years ago, I had the Caitlin Clark experience right in the elevator. I would have been within my means. There's nobody else around. It would have just been me and the kids. That would have been the clean opportunity.
Should have done it. Absolutely.
So you thought I should have done that, Caitlin Clark.
It's a great story. You're in an elevator with your kid. And I think she probably would have said yes because there were kids involved, right? And I
thought it was too much. She already gave the autograph. I thought it was too much.
As long as you're as long as you're not making somebody set up for a photo, just put your phone up, take a quick selfie. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to capture the moment. I think it would have been absolutely fine.
I have been told Baker Mayfield, the last couple of summers in the Black Hills, he's come. I don't know if he's visiting friends or something, but he goes and golfs. Like, he's taking a ton of pictures. So say what you want about Baker. I don't know him, whatever. I think it is a sign when guys are taking pictures, and I think that's a good sign.
Oh, absolutely. I think particularly in a place where it's not like a ton of people are going to recognize Baker Mayfield, right? It's not that he's not popular and he's an NFL quarterback, but you're in the Black Hills of South Dakota, not a ton of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, right? But anybody who does recognize him that he's that gracious to, I become a fan of those kind of athletes immediately when I hear that they have great interactions with just the general public.
Okay, so do you have a famous athlete picture on the Rob Kegron phone experience? Do you have one that stands out at all?
Yeah, I have a few. It's a very odd one, and you're going to think I'm crazy. Most people aren't going to even remember this name, but he threw a perfect game for the New York Yankees like 70 years ago in the World Series. Don Larson.
Okay.
I spent like 2 hours with Don Larson at an event, and at the end of it, I actually didn't ask him for a photo. My buddy said, why don't we take a photo, all of us together? So it wasn't just me and him. It was a few of my buddies with him. And I still look at that photo and think, like, what a cool night. Because he had a couple cocktails with us. He was telling all kinds of great stories, and I kept that photo for sure.
Okay, and you've gone to Super Bowl parties, and you don't have pictures? I mean, why didn't you take one with Russell Wilson?
I've never been in right next to Russell Wilson, ever.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's not true. How did I forget that?
Yes,
I was at the Super Bowl party
I thought you told me that.
With Russ and actually Joe Montana, who I didn't take a photo with. I did take one with Sean Payton, though. I got to see if I still have that and show that to you because you love Sean Payton.
A picture with Sean.
He was there at that party.
So
I forgot that Russell Wilson was at that party. Trevor Lawrence was there.
So Sean's a nice guy. He took a picture with Rob Kegron.
Sean was a gentleman. He sat down at our table for like 15 minutes. He was a gentleman. A lot of fun.
He is.
He was a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. Just ask Russell Wilson. They're pretty nice to him. By the way, what's the audience say on this? I just got a listener text, a couple of them coming in. Depending on the situation, I would ask for a picture. Depending. A couple of people have said that. What's that mean, depending on the situation?
Well, I think if he's doing something important, like I wouldn't go up to an athlete that I see at a restaurant that I'm at and bother them in the middle of their meal, right? They're having their own time, right? Like they're entitled to that as well.
But they're outside, getting ready to leave.
Different story, right? Outside the restaurant, they're getting ready to leave, no big deal. If they're trying to get their kids organized, right, and their kids are kind of a mess or something like that, I don't want to go bother him at that moment. But it seems like he has a down minute for sure. Absolutely, I think that's okay.
If you run into a famous athlete, are you going to ask him for a picture? That's my question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Rob Kegron says pretty much yes. I knew that. I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't go down that road. I don't know what it is. I don't get pictures. Me and Matt Kearney aren't going to get pictures. We'll leave it to you.
I'll have all of the photos for Instagram.
78% of the audience says no, don't do it. Just keep moving. 78% of the audience just keep moving.
So that's what we would call South Dakota nice, right? And they're polite. They're not going to go bother an athlete. I'm a New Yorker. I'm absolutely going to run right up to them with my camera.
You don't care. By the way, let's come back with this. I have a coach on an NFL hot seat going into the season. I don't know if Rob does, so I thought, hey, there's this time of year. Coaches on the biggest hot seat. My top three and Rob's. You might know this guy coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale starts now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now's the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. By the way, a big upset just now in the World Cup. I mean, we got to keep you up to speed. Germany just gets knocked out by Paraguay. How about that? Germany's like, what do you got, Rob Kagron? You're the World Cup guys. Was Germany a top 5 team? Top 5?
Top 10. I'm not sure if they're back to their top 5 status. Somewhere 7, 8, somewhere around there. I mean, certainly a very good team. I mean, and I was honestly already looking forward to Germany versus France in the next round. Like, I thought that would have been a hell of a matchup to see those two teams.
Now France has got to walk through to the quarterfinals.
Probably should beat Paraguay pretty easy. Absolutely.
So Germany goes down. By the way, U.S. men's national team playing Wednesday. It's the round of 32. If you're not following the World Cup, round of 32. So this is the knockout stuff. U.S. men's national team, Bosnia, Wednesday night. And then if they win that, probably going to get Belgium, more than likely Belgium, Senegal. But some of this stuff I've been watching a lot. There's a lot of close games, a lot of kind of upsets. It seems like a team that should win easy, all of a sudden struggling. I don't know what's going on, if they expanded the field, so now it's just that many more teams. It's soccer. I guess anything can happen, but the teams that should win get knocked down a little bit.
You know, I think in some ways, Nate, you hit something there. I think when it was only 32 teams, it was actually a little bit easier for the cream to rise to the top, right? Because yeah, you might play a tougher opponent, but you'd have just less competition, right? One whole extra round, like this round of 32 thing, right? You're playing a team that, has a lot of motivation to really, Paraguay, right? Like, Paraguay's not going to win the World Cup, but they basically did that this afternoon, right?
How about that?
That's
beating
huge...
Germany after that. That's the team we beat easy, right? First game.
We beat Paraguay pretty easy. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
So, very interesting. Germany goes down. Let's get into something we do this time of year. I don't think we've done this that much, but you look at the NFL season coming up. We're going to be in NFL football here in a month, and we wanted to look at the coaches that are on the hot seat. And the reason I bring this up, I'm going to put a coach on this list. I wonder if Rob's going to disagree. It's a coach many of you know. I'm going to put him in my top 3. Let's do this. Who are your top 3 NFL coaches on the biggest hot seat? Now, you could just go down the list and, Todd Bowles, every year, Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles. Hey, you could do that. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go guys that you expect to get something out of that have kind of been struggling. So I'm going to go top 3 right now, and then we'll see where Rob Kagron goes here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Radio. Top 3 coaches on the biggest hot seat. They need to do something. And in this case, I think these 2 guys that I have 3 and 2, they have to win and get to the playoffs without a doubt. Maybe win a playoff game. You're going to say, otherwise you're going to get fired? Well, I think so. So number 3, will Vikings fans not like this? I have Kevin O'Connell. I'm a Kevin O'Connell fan. You normally wouldn't think I'd put him in here. He's going on 5 years, no playoff victories. You do it again, that'd be 6. A lot of coaches, we just went over this trivia. Nobody's been brought back when you're going on 5-6 years, no playoff victories. Marvin Lewis was one of them with the Bengals way back in the day. Remember, they just kept bringing Marvin back. So I got Kevin O'Connell, number 3. Your reaction?
Yeah, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think...
What?
Well, because you love to tout how good he is, and I think he's a very good coach. I think this is a transitional year for the Vikings, trying to figure out if you have something with the Kyler Murray reclamation project, if you have something with J.J. McCarthy down the line. I think they could, short of them, only winning 4 or 5 games, I do not think O'Connell's on the hot seat.
6 years, no playoff victory? We're talking about a team that's had some talent, and I understand the QB deal, but that's part of his deal. He wanted JJ. He wants Kyler. You got to start winning.
Yeah, I don't think you need to win a playoff game, though. I think they could actually miss the playoffs and he would still be safe.
Miss the playoffs and he's safe.
I think so.
I do not believe that. Vikings miss the playoffs and he's safe again, and you're going to keep on bringing. So I got Kevin O'Connell, number 3. Number 2 on my list. This is a guy who he was at the top, and now if this fall continues, they're going to run him out of town quick. I don't know if you should, but they run people out of town. Nick Sirianni, your boy. You like him. You think he's good. And I don't think he's great. He had a great run. Now the A.J. Brown mess, he's out. So now you got A.J.'s out. So the Eagles need to come back to top tier NFC East. And that means winning playoff games. Let's say Nick Sirianni makes the playoffs, doesn't win. Is he out?
I think there's a chance for sure. This is a team, if you remember, Philly had never won a Super Bowl. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with them, and then 2 years later, they got rid of him, right? So they are not afraid to move on from a coach. I think,
especially Nick. Doesn't it feel like people are against Nick pretty quickly?
Well, he has some odd behavior. The way he talks sometimes is a bit odd. He's not the easiest guy to really love, but he has been very successful. I think he probably needs to win a playoff game. I probably agree with you there, but I think if he does, he's safe. If they were to not make the playoffs, he'd absolutely be out.
So I got Nick Sirianni, number 2, top 3 NFL coaches, hot seat into 2026. My number 1, I couldn't leave him off. The guy's been a mess last year, and I guess they give him another chance. The Jets are a mess, but Aaron Glenn, the head coach, he got his first opportunity. He was terrible last year. If they're terrible again, and I think they're going to be, the Jets are going to fire Aaron Glenn. He's number 1 on my list. Honorable mention, Zach Taylor with the Bengals. If Joe Burrow's healthy and the Bengals are not in the mix of the AFC North, Zach Taylor is my hot seat honorable mention. I need to keep it at 3, but I throw Zach in as an honorable mention. So Aaron Glenn's number 1 just because it's the Jets. You only get a couple of years. And he didn't have a good one last year. I don't think it's going to be good this year. Your top 3, Rob Kegron.
So I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from with these, right? And I just took it a little bit of a different take on these. Number 3 for me is a guy who started off very well in his second head coaching stint and then had some injury problems last year. They did not perform very well. And I think that fan base loses patience not quite as quickly as Philly, but something similar. And I think Dan Quinn in Washington is absolutely in trouble. You know, he's a defensive guru. Their defense was not very good last year. I think they have to. I don't think they have
to do.
I think they got to. You have to have an over 500 record. Like if you go another losing season in Washington, I think they're going to move on and head in a completely different direction.
So Dan Quinn, Washington has to go 9-8 at least.
I can't see them bringing him back for another go around if you have another losing season. I mean, you have Jaden Daniels. You have to get something out of him.
We expect Washington's good. They had this flash in the pan 2 years ago. That's all that was.
I think they have talent. Certainly on the offensive side of the ball, they have talent. I think they have to put something together that's just respectable. Head in the right direction. Winning season, losing season. I think Dan Quinn's gone.
Okay, so you got Dan Quinn number 3. I got Kevin O'Connell.
My number 2 is one that you honorably mentioned, and it's Zach Taylor. To me, this is and Cincinnati is a very patient team. You said it yourself with Marvin Lewis being there forever. But you have plenty of talent, particularly offensively, right? Like you just traded for a big giant defensive tackle, right? You should be set up to make a deep if Burrow stays healthy, and I know
they gave him a break last year, I think, because Burrow got hurt again.
If Burrow is healthy, to me, it's AFC Championship or bust. Right? Like they have to get to the AFC Championship with that talent on the offensive side of the ball, and I think anything short of that, and you have to start thinking maybe this is not the right combo with Joe Burrow, and you have to head in a different direction. I know since he's patient, but he'd be on my hot seat. You've had one Super Bowl appearance you lost.
Then. He's going to be fired. Fire him. You said AFC Championship. They're not making that. Fire him today.
Oh, I think they have a chance to make the AFC Championship. I think if Burrow's healthy, absolutely. So he's number 2. And number 1, I completely agree with you.
What are you going to do?
Aaron Glenn was 3-14 in his first season as the Jet head coach with a minus 203 point differential.
Oh.
They were embarrassing. I know that they didn't get much better in the offseason. Geno Smith is okay, although he didn't have a great year last year. He's serviceable. For Aaron Glenn to keep his job, the Jets got to win like 7 games, right? And I don't think that they're going to win 7 games. I think if you have another 4 or 5 win season, Aaron Glenn came in as, first of all, he's an ex-Jet, and he was a great Jet. And he came in with, he could really mold a culture there, right?
Yeah, tough. Got to be tough.
Taking that kind of page from the Lions from where he was defensive coordinator. They had no culture last year. You have to make significant strides in year 2, or the Jets' revolving door of head coaches will continue 1 year. I can't disagree with you. He has to be number 1 on the hot seat.
Okay, there's other guys to think about. Bulls, I don't know if they ever get rid of him. It's like, they make the playoffs because they're in the NFC South, so they somehow keep making it. He'll keep staying. Somebody say Shane Steichen, the Colts, and I'm like, I don't know. What do they expect there?
Yeah, Daniel Jones is not the solution to anything, so I think Steichen probably a bit on the hot seat, or his seat is definitely warm, but what do you expect from him?
But no Kevin O'Connell for you. If the Vikings miss the playoffs, KOC's coming back? No way.
I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. I think he's safe. Short of, 4, 5, 6 win season, something like that, I think he's safe.
All right, we're back with maybe the biggest trade in quite some time in the NBA, and that's serious. I just don't know if it's really going to move the needle. But it's going to be interesting if it happens. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Time to celebrate this summer. It's the Infrared White and Blue Sale, June 26th to July 13th at Splash City. Get the best prices of the season on all Jacuzzi, American Whirlpool, and Sundance Spa models. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on swim spas, spas and saunas, and save up to $5,000 in factory direct rebates. Celebrate and save at the Infrared White and Blue Sale, June 26th to July 13th at the area's #1 summer fun spot, Splash City. Find us in Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Rapid City.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback Credit Card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
The best certified pre-owned values are at Danny Menno Toyota. Shop over 25 Toyota certified used vehicles in stock, inspected and backed by a 12-month, 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty and a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And we have low finance rates available on select certified Toyotas. Looking to sell? We pay top dollar for used vehicles. Get an appraisal in 20 minutes or less, or use your online KBB Instant Cash Offer tool. See us at Danny Menno Toyota or DannyMennoToyota.com today. See dealer for warranty details.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates, KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Rob Kagron's live in studio. It's a Reaction Monday. Glad you're here. Appreciate you making this show possible. A lot to discuss tonight. Baker Mayfield visits the Black Hills, and Rob admits he would have been asking for the picture out there on T-Box number 1. He's asked for the picture. 77% of our audience says you keep moving. You don't ask for that picture, but maybe I'll hang out with you a little more.
I'm shameless.
You can get me some. I'm going to Las Vegas this weekend. We're going to another Caitlin Clark game. We're staying at the same hotel. We're going to see if we can see. So if we somehow get Caitlin in the elevator, lucky like that, do we ask for the picture?
If you don't want to be in the photo, that's fine. But have your girls absolutely take a photo with Caitlin Clark.
That
no
is right.
reason not to.
We missed it.
Yes.
We absolutely missed it. Okay, let's get to this. I don't know if this is going to get pulled off, but they're throwing it out there. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Draymond Green. Why do I mention these guys? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green have the same agent, this Clutch Sports. And so reports out today that they're trying to make a plan. Draymond's going to take less, and they would like to have LeBron James, Anthony Davis join Steph Curry and Draymond Green for the 2026 Warriors. So if you've got Steph, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green on the same team, you say what first?
Well, I think it's probably 5 years too late. I think that is not exactly how you're going to win a championship. I think LeBron and Steph together would, for like 1 or 2 years, however much longer LeBron plays, I think that would be cool. I think it'd be really interesting to watch these two guys play together. But if you're telling me that what's the solution to OKC, San Antonio, Denver, maybe Minnesota, those kind of top 4 teams, I think we would agree that they're right about the top 4 teams in the West right now. I don't think that Anthony Davis, who can never stay healthy, I think he only played 20 games last year or something like that. I don't think Anthony Davis, I think 8 or 10 years ago, Anthony Davis, sure. I don't think right now that Draymond Green, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, and LeBron James is winning a championship. I do not.
Okay, so you do not, but it's really intriguing.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think more than anything, who are the two guys who have really been the faces or kind of changed basketball over the last 15, 20 years? Is it not Curry and LeBron? I mean, I can't.
Two biggest names in the NBA in the last 20 years.
Absolutely. So to have them play together for a year or two before LeBron retires, I think that's very intriguing. I'd be very interested to see the kind of basketball that they'd play together. I think it would be fun basketball to watch. I just don't think that that's your... The NBA is getting younger, not older, Nate. You know that. I mean, think about it. Wembanyama is, 22 when he was in the NBA Finals, right? They're getting younger, not older. I think to put an old team on the court like that and expect them to be able to withstand the test of a long NBA season and then into the playoffs, I think you're asking for too much.
But they are they contending for that third spot? Could those type of guys contend for behind OKC and San Antonio, third spot in the West?
Absolutely. And if they could stay healthy, it would be a very interesting test to go up against an OKC or a San Antonio, a little bit younger team with a team that has plenty of championship experience.
By the way, I do want to know if you're buying a ticket to a game like that, because one of those guys is going to sit out. I mean, when are all, 3 of them? Draymond plays a lot, but the rest of those guys, they're going to sit out. Are you going to take a risk? That's going to be a hot ticket, and then you go to the game and they're not going to play in Denver.
Yeah, it would be a huge bummer to not actually go and see them all play together. I can take or leave Anthony Davis, but to just see Draymond, LeBron, and Steph on the same court, I would love that. But you're right. It would be a crapshoot if they actually all played together.
What's the deal with LeBron James asking for all these guys that, he likes, but they're done? Anthony Davis, he asked him to come in L.A. They won, but I guess that bubble year, he asked for these guys to keep up. What is that?
I don't get it. It is it's the modern day athlete for sure, but LeBron probably more than anyone of trying to craft these teams together and stay loyal to certain guys.
And his friends.
I hear LeBron is a great teammate. I've heard great things about him. But you trying to, bring something back up that was good 7 years ago makes no sense to me. You're not going to win that way.
Anthony Davis, how many games is he going to play, like you said? So that's the buzz today. Can LeBron, Anthony Davis join Steph Curry and Draymond Green? Draymond declined his option for more money, so that means he's going to take less. They all three have the same agent trying to put a trade together. We're back with wrapping up. U.S. men's national team plays Wednesday. What's going to happen the rest of the way next?
This is the Nate.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale starts now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now's the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's wrap up the show tonight, a Reaction Monday with Rob Kagron in, and then we're out for the 4th anyway. We got a show tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we'll take a 4th of July breather and a break next week. So let's finish it off, Rob Kagron. I'm going to give you a little bit of time off after this, okay? U.S. men's national team plays Wednesday, World Cup frenzy. If they take down Bosnia Wednesday, that's what's expected, then they might get Belgium. Are they going to make the Final 8? Does the U.S. men's national team go on a run? Can they make the Final 8? Should they make the Final 8?
I think they should definitely win on Wednesday night. I think either Belgium or Senegal will be tough. I do like our chances in that game. I don't like it anywhere past that, though. I think the thought of a round of 8 quarterfinal against either a Spain or a Portugal is probably too much for us to ask for. But I would take right now, I think it would be a huge disappointment if we lost on Wednesday night.
Okay, that would be an upset.
I think playing Belgium, we would probably be a slight underdog, but not a huge one by any means, especially at home. I think I would like our chances in that game too, but I just can't see us past that.
Okay, so you win Wednesday, then you get another one against maybe Belgium, Senegal, and we're talking big numbers. 17 million watched the game against Turkey last week. That was a no matter game. You get into the Final 8, how big?
If you got to a Final 8, I think you're looking at 40 to 50 million people are going to watch that. Absolutely. I think Wednesday night, you're probably way over 20 because it's at a better, the other game last night started like 10 o'clock East, 8 o'clock Mountain Time. That's late.
So you got a prime time Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And then you keep advancing. U.S. men's national team could be absolutely massive. Appreciate Rob Kegron coming in. A Reaction Monday. He's out Thursday. We're out Thursday, but we'll be on the next 2 days. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. A little summer break coming up. 4th of July coming up, but the Nate Brown Show podcast featuring Thor Nystrom, Jerry Brewer, Mike McFeely, and Rob Kegron tonight. It'll be going up right now, and then we will be back tomorrow. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. See ya.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of